So today, my message is the power of vision. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about this dude here, the CEO of Brent's Pizza Funland. And you'll hear more about that later though. So let me just step into, firstly, this has been my centering thought for this particular talk. Energy flows where attention goes, is what Michael Beckwith said. And he's talking about vision. And of course, Michael Beckwith is a leader in visioning and in creating a really strong, solid vision for your life. And in fact, I'm going to be teaching a course online about that coming up soon. So I will let you know what the details of that are. It's going to be an online course through One Love Awakening, but you are all absolutely welcome because it's a really perfect course to have as an online thing. So as I get into this idea of vision, though, what is a vision? Well, Charles Fillmore says a vision is the ability to see clearly. He defines it as being able to see the good, the true, the beautiful everywhere. And what he says is, in this manner is the eye single and vision perfected. The eye single, meaning only one focus, meaning knowing exactly what the focus is and going with that. And so when we are in that place of vision, we are giving that energy and attention that Michael Beckwith talks about to our intentions, to our single eye, to our focus, so that energy flows where attention goes, is what Michael Beckwith said. And that is how we do that. We give our attention by being clear in our vision. And that is a powerful way that we use the law of mind. That is a powerful way that we bring a deeper level of energy and a deeper level of that inner power into our life and into the expression in our life. So I wanted to kind of break down a little bit what my thought is on what the components are of a really strong vision. Because vision isn't just about being able to imagine something. Imagining is a first step. It's a good thing. But vision has more than that. Having a really strong, clear vision involves, firstly, being able to picture what it is you desire. So that's being able to imagine what it is that you desire in life around you. Secondly, having a really strong why. Having a sense of the importance of why this vision must come to life in your life or in the world. And having an affirmative state of mind, a can-do attitude, knowing that whatever the obstacles are, that I know what I can do. I don't have to look at the obstacles. I can turn my eye towards what it is that I want instead of continuing to focus on obstacles. And the last thing is cultivating a tenacious faith in the idea, in the support of the source of all that is through you and as you, in the support of the universe to be able to create that which you desire. Having that tenacious sense of faith is so important in being able to unfold that powerful vision for yourself. So I have a quote here. This is from Eric Butterworth. And he starts off quoting Thomas Troward, who said, "Having seen and felt the end, you have willed the means to the realization of the end. Having conceived and deeply felt something or some experience, you have actually created the condition in mind that makes a particular result inevitable. It's fundamental law." And so that's where we get that really clear picture of what we desire. When we're in that place of vision, we have a really strong sense about what it is that we see happening, what it is that we see unfolding in the world around us. And so, for instance, for me right now, one of my really strong visions, one of my really clear visions, is that I can see us, the Unity of Winnipeg, as a wider community. And I've talked about this a lot, so I'm sure you've all heard this more than once, that I see us as being the New Thought umbrella in Winnipeg. I see us as being the premier New Thought community, and I see us moving out into this city in a wider way and impacting the city around us just by our presence, by our love, by our teachings of New Thought. This is a really beautiful vision, and so that is a powerful vision for me, to be able to hold that idea and know that because I'm holding that idea, that the result is inevitable, because, as Butterworth says, it is fundamental law. So then the second thing, so that was the clear picture. The second thing is a strong why. And what does that mean? Well, a strong why is our ability to stay really deeply connected to the reason why we have that vision, the reason that that vision is good and important and necessary in the world. So I got this part, this why, from the book Start With Why by Simon Sinek. Can you see that? By Simon Sinek. And this book, I read this back in ministerial studies, and it has been with me ever since. It is such a powerful book. And he talks about so many of the major influencers in our time, in the past 40, 50 years, the major influencers, and how they've come into that sense of influence by being really clear and really able to communicate their why. And one of the first people he talks about is Martin Luther King Jr., who, of course, we all know who that is, and he is so powerful in his speech about "I have a dream." That was the way he communicated his vision in such a deep and powerful way that it continues to compel us. It continues to impact us as we look at the world around us and see that, yes, he had a vision, and it's not yet there, and we are still moving forward towards that vision, but by gum, that is a vision that is drawing us forward as a human race. So another company that he talks about is Apple Computers. And regardless of how you feel about Apple Computers, they started and they have continued through time with a really clear vision. Their vision was that they wanted to tear down the status quo. They didn't want to be the same kind of computer company that had been around, meaning they looked at companies like IBM at the time and said, no, that's not who we are. We want to do something different. And so in this book, Simon Sinek talks about two different ways of communicating that allow that deepening into the sense of why in that company. So he said, firstly, if they were like everyone else, their marketing message might look something like this: "We make great computers. They're beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. Want to buy one?" And of course, you'd think, well, okay, that sounds okay, but it's not. It doesn't compel you. You don't. It's not. It doesn't hit you in the heart, right? It just is a standard advertisement. But he said, let's take a look at the way Apple actually communicates their why. And so this time he says, "In everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. And we happen to make great computers. Want to buy one?" Don't you see how that is different? How that compels the heart in a different way when you back up your vision, the idea that you see in your mind with a strong why, that energizes it in a different way, right? It creates this feeling that is a wider energy, a more impactful energy, and a more attractive energy. And that's the kind of energy that we seek to have in spiritual community, because we want that energy to flow out into the world. We want to impact the world, and as well, we want to attract the world so that the world can come in and receive the goodness that we have to offer. So that's the strong why. So the third thing that I mentioned was an affirmative state of mind, a can-do attitude. And for that, I want to share a quote from Charles Fillmore. Charles Fillmore says, throw into your ideas all the life and power of your concentrated thought, and they will be clothed with reality. Throw into your ideas all the life and power of your concentrated thought, and they will be clothed with reality. That is a deeply affirmative statement. That is a powerful statement that says, yes, I can do this. I can do this because I have the backing of the universe. And so how I see this is that we have to remain, as he said, single in our eye. Our eye needs to be focused on one thing. And a little example of that is when I was learning how to drive many, many years ago, my driver teacher loved to take us down Pembina Highway under that Stafford overpass, you know, where and the road narrows there, and there is a center barrier, a median barrier there. And I hated driving in the median lane because of that barrier, and he knew it, so he made me drive in that lane every single time. And I'd tell him, you know, I'm afraid of hitting the barrier. I keep seeing that barrier there, and I'm worried that I'm gonna get too close. And he said, keep your eye on the center of the road. Keep your eye on the center of your lane. Because where your focus goes, that's where your vehicle goes. And that's the same for us in life. Where our focus is where we're going to go. That's the same as what Michael Beckwith said. Energy flows where attention goes. So we have to be mindful of where we are placing our focus. And we don't want to place our focus on the barriers. We want to place our focus on what we can do, what we are capable of doing, what we are in the process of doing, what we can do. That's where we place our focus. So that, along with the energy of our why and a really clear picture of what it is that we want to bring into the world, that again is another way of energizing our vision in a greater way. So for us as a community, we want to keep our energy focused and our mind focused on what we can do next. What's right in front of us? What do we do next? Well, what we're going to do next is we're going to get into an in-person situation. So that's where our eye needs to be focused. We want to get people coming in, so we're going to communicate that we're here. That's where the energy of our focus is. So, okay, so we've got 3 things so far. And then the last thing is a cultivated, tenacious faith. That we want to cultivate our faith in a way that is going to be tenacious, that we will hold on to that faith, and we will nurture that faith, and we will support that faith in whatever way that we need to do. And for that, I have another quote for you. Ernest Holmes says, conscious thought is the starting point of every new creation. Trained thought is far more powerful than untrained. And that is so true. That's why we cultivate it. We train our thought to be on that path of faith. We train our hearts and our minds to be always in that expression of faith. And so for that, now I'm going to go back to the picture that I started off with. CEO of Brent's Pizza Funland. That's my son. It's Mother's Day, so I had to tell a story about my kids, you know. That's my son Brent when he was a child. And Brent, as a child, always had 1,000 ideas. He still does. He's an ideas kind of guy. He always had 1,000 ideas, and he would see something and he would know immediately how to fix it. He wants to fix the world. In fact, if the world would just listen to him all the time, it'd probably be better. That's in his mind. But anyway, but he has all these tremendous ideas. And so as a child, one of the things that he came up with is that he wanted to have some sort of an amusement place for children. He wanted it to be kind of like Chuck E. Cheese's because he wanted pizza, Brent's Pizza Funland, but he also wanted games that were like life-sized games. And so his idea was that he was going to have this pizza place and he was going to build a life-size snakes and ladders game where you go upstairs and ladders to go up and up and up, and then if you hit the wrong spot you have to go down on a slide and start all over again. So it's like snakes and ladders but in life size. And it was a great idea, and I thought, what a fun thing. So I said, well, what would that look like? And so we actually created this little mini business plan. And he was about the age that he is in that picture, by the way. So this was his first foray into big business. He wanted to have Brent's Pizza Funland. So we did a business plan for it. We drew it. We made pictures to show what it would look like, and we had a great time doing it. And this idea was something he says now. He said, Mom, that was like a stroke of parenting brilliance. Well, it wasn't really my brilliance. It was just me following what he was envisioning. His vision was coming forward. So now cut to today's life with Brent. Well, Brent is in the process of starting a business. It's a huge undertaking. It's a beautiful, powerful undertaking that he is doing with a business partner, and they've gone through all of the bits and bobs of creating their business plan and getting investors and doing all kinds of different things. And here he is moving into this powerful way of being an entrepreneur in his life. And yet, sometimes over the past while, there have been points where he's run up against a roadblock. But he had the power of vision. He had the power of vision in his mind. So let me tell you a little step by step of what happened. Well, so firstly, he ran up against a really significant roadblock, and he came to me for some coaching because I get to do that for my son, which is a beautiful thing as a mother. I love that my son asked me for coaching. So the first thing I asked him was, well, what do you really want? Because at that point he was saying, like, I don't know, maybe I should just quit. Maybe I should just go out and get a job. Like something, like I don't even know what I would do if I wasn't doing this. And I said, what do you really want? I want you to see that in your mind. And so he got really clear in his mind, in his vision, about what he wants. What does he see? So that's the first step. Get clear on your vision. The second thing is, I said, why is this business important? Well, he could talk a blue streak about how important it is for this province to have this particular business because there's a niche that is empty, that's not being filled. And how important it's going to be able to support what our province wants to do. So great, he was really clear on his why. He got clear on his why, he got clear on his vision. So then the next thing is I asked him to make a list of his resources and to brainstorm what he can do. Instead of looking at the blockages that came up, instead of looking at those barriers that seem to be there, look at what your resources are. Turn your eye away from what's not working and look at what is working. And so he acknowledged resources that he hadn't even really tapped into yet, that there are other things that he could do, other resources that he could draw upon. And the last thing was not a part of my coaching at all. It was just him, because all of that wouldn't have made any difference at all if he hadn't had the tenacious kind of faith in his idea, in his business partnership, in his ability to do what he needed to do. and that there is support out there. If he hadn't had that kind of tenacity, that kind of faith, none of the rest of that coaching would have mattered. None of the rest of visualization without faith, without tenacity, without moving forward is just wishful thinking. He doesn't have wishful thinking. What he has is a vision, and he has some tenacity, and he has faith, and he has resources now that he's been gathering, and he has a clarity on what his why is, and he has a clarity on what his vision is. And because of all of that, all of those blockages that he was feeling are starting to shift. And he's moving into being able to do what he wanted to do in the first place. So this is just an example of how we move through our life. And if we have that clarity of vision, the road opens up before us. If we have that clarity of vision, the power of vision behind us, the road opens up before us, and we are supported. As Butterworth said, it is immutable, fundamental law. Fundamental law. This is how the universe works. So, I want to do an affirmation with you on this, because what I would like to see is that where you have that need for vision in your life, that you powerfully ground this idea. Where you have that need to move forward in something in your life, that you grasp onto this powerful idea and allow yourself to be in the power of vision. So let's go to our affirmation now. I just love that picture. That's such a beautiful picture of him. So here's our affirmation. Feel free to unmute if you like and just say it with me. I powerfully focus my inner sight on a magnificent vision. I joyfully affirm the possibilities and cultivate a tenacious faith in my good. And so it is. And so now, Alita, would you unmute yourself and read our Divine Feminine rendition of the Lord's Prayer?
As rendered by Mark Hathaway, based on the work of Neil Douglas Clout's Prayers of the Cosmos. O divine womb, birthing forth the river of blessing which runs through all, soften the ground of our being and hallow in us a space for the planting of thy presence. In our depths, sow thy seed with its greening power, that we might be midwives to thy reign. Then, let each of our actions bear fruit in accordance with thy desire. Impart to us the wisdom to bring forth the gifts of the earth, and share them daily according to the needs of each being. And restore that which has been usurped by injustice to its rightful owners, as we restore to others that which is not our own. Do not let us be seduced by that which would divert us from our purpose, but make us sensitive to the moment at hand. For from thy fertile soil is born the creativity, the life energy, and the dance, from birthing to birthing. Amen, and so it is.
And so it is. Beautiful. Thank you. So now let's share together our prosperity affirmation and just recognize and know that this community is a spiritual cooperative. We are each a part of, and we are each owners of this beautiful community, and therefore we are blessed by it, and we bless it with our presence and with our gifts. So let's do this affirmation together, and then there is that e-transfer Gmail address that you can send an e-transfer to if you choose to give a gift today. May life bless you abundantly. May grace and goodness walk with you every day. May love and joy expand within you, and may you know peace.